Hey folks, Coach Simmons here again, and we're going to do another descent into madness, if you don't mind. Today's descent into madness is going to be sponsored by the White House. And the White House, they've had a little document that everybody kind of lost track of. September 29th, 2023, why we must invest in AANAPISI. No one knew what the hell that was. Well, it's a little known federal program to help empower generations of underserved Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander students. They sought to strengthen it. Makes sense. Once you find out what a AANAPISI is, well, those are what's called minority serving institutions. Minority serving institutions. Okay, that sounds sort of familiar. Those of y'all who know, despite the benefits designated for AANAPISI, designation little known in comparison to other MSIs like HBCUs and HSIs, and numerous other institutions of higher education are unaware of the eligibility. Uh-oh. And this came to the fact recently in Texas, a lot of schools were designated HSIs. Well, what the hell is an HSI? What qualifies for those, and what can you get from being one? Well, it's really called an MSI, Minority Serving Institution. Make it bigger for the folks in the back with bad vision like myself. The term MSI is not defined by U.S. federal statute. And accordingly, federal agencies do not maintain a listing of MSIs. Most definitions of an MSI are based on historical origin and also based on enrollment criteria, typically the percentage of enrolled minorities at a particular school. For example, a report by the U.S. Department of Education on the characteristics of MSIs defined MSI based on either two separate criteria: legislation, i.e. HBCU, TCU, which is a tribal what's that again? Tribal College University. There you go. HSI, Hispanic Serving Institution, or PBI. Or two, percentage of minority undergraduates enrolled in the IPEDS. Institutions that enroll at least 25% of a group are designated as a minority serving of their group. What would you get from this anyway? What's the end game of this? Federal freaking funding. MSIs are eligible for federal and private funding based on specific eligibility requirements. HBCUs, institutions founded prior to the act of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, i.e. Alabama State, Morgan State, Texas Southern. PBI, listen carefully, predominantly black institutions that do not meet the legal definition of HBCU, but primarily serve African American eligibility based on undergrads population as both low income. At least 50% of Title IX needs are based on assistance, in which African American students constitute at least 40%, i.e. Georgia State University, Trinity, Washington University, Community College of Philadelphia. HSI, institutions will serve undergraduate population that is both low income, at least 50% receiving Title IX needs-based assistance, in which Hispanic students are at least 25%. So to be a PBI, you need to be at least 40%. HSI, 25%, i.e. UTEP, Fresno Pacific, UT Rio Grande Valley. That's that school I keep bringing up, huh? Tribal College University, institutions in higher education formerly controlled, have been controlled or sanctioned, chartered by the governing Native American tribe. Okay. Native American non-tribal institutions, NANTI, another TCUs, that serve an undergraduate population that are both low income and which American Indian students are at least 10%. Alaska or Native Hawaiian serving institutions. 20, basically, the numbers get weird. Alaskan students, just at least 20%. Asian American and Native Pacific Islanders, at least 10%. Cal State, Los Angeles, and University of Guam. This is what the numbers have. 40% to be African American, PBI. 25 to be HSI. 10 to be a NATI, or ANAPISI. That's that thing again. So they want to strengthen those schools. Cal State University. Okay. But what do they actually get? Follow me. Well, before we get to what they actually get, let's find out a little more about what qualifies you to be in that category. Make this bigger for everybody to see. Okay, so underserved student in post-secondary education in one of more following subgroups: living in poverty or served by schools with high concentrations of students living in poverty. A student of color, any color. An English learner, a migrant student, a student without documentation of immigrant status. One more again. A student without documentation of immigrant status. A student who is first in their family to attend post-secondary education. A student enrolling in or seeking to enroll in post-secondary education for the first time of 20 and older. Student who is working full-time while enrolled in post-secondary education. Student who is enrolled or seeking to enroll in post-secondary education who is eligible for a Pell Grant. Adult student in need of improving their basic skills, or an adult student with limited English proficiency. Well, hell, I qualify for that. But a student without documentation of immigration status, or a migrant student. People, this is where this is going to get real interesting.